I'm Madeline Harvey, and thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you have been with me for a little bit, you already know that I absolutely adore the human aspect of singing, meaning the human part is my favorite part. The heart-to-heart is my favorite part. So what I thought we would just gently explore today together is the notion of why is the voice so hard to trust? Why is this so difficult for us to trust our own experience with our voice? And what can we do in practice every day that can help build a solid relationship with our voice, giving us so much more confidence? So if you like today's video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up or click that subscribe button below. I would love to see you here more often. So I'm just going to jump into this. And please forgive me because I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to use words like heart, soul, magic, love, all of that good stuff. So please just humor me and go on this magical adventure with me. So when we're learning about a voice, and it doesn't matter if you're a seasoned pro or if you're just getting started, you're always learning something about your voice. You're always building your skills. But when we're engaged in that kind of work, we have to negotiate between different aspects of ourselves. Now, there are two that are incredibly crucial. One is the observer. Now, the observer is the voice in your head that comments. You know, what is your pitch like? Oh, you missed that note. Try it this way. It guides and it gives criteria for specific parameters for satisfaction. For example, pitch, rhythm, breath support, tone quality, tone consistency, yada, 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 yada. Those are wonderful, beautiful things, but those are all aspects of the observer. The observer listens and then provides feedback. If the observer is properly oriented, it will provide constructive, productive feedback. For example, missed that note a little bit. Why don't we try it this way? Or that was a little brighter than we would have liked. How about we make it a little warmer? Now that's a properly oriented critical mind or observer. If the critical mind or observer is not properly oriented, it will straight up attack you. That sucked. Who do you think you are? You're never going to be a singer, blah, blah, blah. Now, the whole aspect of today is building trust with the voice. So we've got to reel these aspects in and get them properly situated. So we're going to do that now. When you think about technique, you may want to go through a list and create a list of what you want to hear. For example, there are some technical elements that are always in play, such as pitch. We want pitch accuracy. We want rhythmic accuracy. We would like nice articulation. Want to be able to hear your words. Would love some element of musical phrasing called the melody. We've got to work within that. And then go on and go on. What you want to hear. So we'll play with this in just a second. We're just vaguely establishing criteria. That is the observer. Now, the other aspect that we have to negotiate with is called the experiencer. I call it the experiencer. Now, here's the wonderful thing about the experiencer. The experiencer doesn't know what anything sounds like because listening is a function of the observer. You can't listen and experience at the same time. You can't. You're either thinking this direction or thinking that direction, but you can't think of them both at the same time. So here's our game. We're going to start with the experiencer because it's vague, but it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful aspect of the vocal process. You don't have to close your eyes, especially not if you're driving, but I would recommend it and really allow yourself the full permission of this little fantasy that we're going to play out in our minds. I would like for you to imagine yourself in the highest expression of the way you would like to use your voice. Are you in a recording studio? Are you singing proudly in front of your student body? Are you singing proudly in an amphitheater, surrounded by people who love you and would love to experience your voice and your particular energy? Imagine yourself there now. Really embody what it's like to be in that moment. Imagine yourself singing fully. What does that feel like? Is it exhilarating? Is it profound? Does it feel powerful? Does it feel uplifting? Just really embody that moment. Really step into that experience. Is it complete surrender? Does it feel like the entire cosmos is just flowing through you? Does it feel like you're calming the hearts of 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 20,000 people? Does it feel like you're warming the hearts of 20,000 people? Stay in that experience as much as possible. Give you just a few more seconds, but feel free to pause this video anytime you wish. When you feel you've gotten clear about what you'd like to experience, come back to me. And just realize, just for a moment, just recognize that nowhere in any of that was any sort of aspect of sound. Matter of fact, again, we cannot listen and experience at the same time. So we're just establishing some parameters. What is valuable to us? What kind of experience do we want to have with our voice? And we set up our experience for the kind of expression we want to have. That's really, really important. Now, flip it. Go into the observer and let the observer have fun. Now, again, you're already imagining as if your voice were everything you'd want it to be. Now, what would it sound like? Would it be bright? Would it be dark? Would it be filled with energy and enthusiasm? Or would it be mysterious and moody? Would it be polished and elegant? Or would it be raw? Really get into how you would describe the sound and transcend the word correct. Just transcend that for now. We're just assuming that all those technical elements are already there. What do you want to hear? How do you want to use your voice specifically? We are going from observer into experiencer. So as we work with this energy, now we have to negotiate. The word trust is the big word today. So where does this word fit in to this process between observer and experiencer? Trust is the bridge that takes you from the observer to the experiencer. Because, like I said just a minute ago, we cannot listen and experience at the same time. So we've got to trust that our voice is still going to be there for us. Yes? Now here's the doozy. It's quite a humdinger. Let's assume that we begin the process with the observer. Now you've already made your list. What's the criteria? How do I know when I've done something well enough that it no longer requires my conscious attention? Do I have the skills that are necessary? Have I worked it out enough? Do I know the song enough? Now, if the answer is no, then spend a little bit more time with the observer, but properly orient your observer to be productive. How about we try it this way? Oh, we missed that note. That's okay. That's okay. Let's try it again. Build a interior system of support for yourself that can build skill simultaneously, that can self-soothe and build skill simultaneously. Then when you feel like you've got the song well enough and you're ready to let go, what I like to do is place my hands on my heart, partly because it pulls my attention into my own existence. I can at least feel everything. Now, when I'm properly feeling everything, I don't hear. I hear it, but I'm not listening. I can hear that something's happening, but I'm not listening. Instead, my objective is, what kind of ride am I going to go on? What kind of beautiful experience can I have with this particular song, whatever song I'm singing? But as I'm sitting there and I have my hands on my heart, I'm changing how I'm oriented. I'm placing my attention on the ride and the relationship. I want to feel everything. And I've shifted into that. And as I'm in that space and I'm going through my song, I am not checking every pitch for its quality. I am not playing that game. That's what the observer is for. In this space, I'm purely letting go, fully letting go. Now, as you do that, you may notice that you have to self-soothe. Like literally, you're okay, it's okay. Because I find that there's so much shame that's associated with the experience of sound and the experience of our own voice, that it is quite possible that even as you're sitting making sound, that the body, your own body, is having its own experience that might be a little traumatic. So you may have to self-soothe. You may notice panic. You may notice strange patterns of energy suddenly shake loose. Like I'm overwhelmed, or I'm panicking, or I'm scared. It's scary. It's a scary thing to trust the voice. So it's up to you to soothe. You're all right. You're all right. You can do this. Look there. There you go. There you go. Isn't that nice? Literally celebrate everything. Everything you do. You will create a momentum of trust in your voice that knows how to ride those waves, that can feel comfortable enough to ride the waves of experience for the voice, that's free of the judgment from the observer. But here's also a doozy. You have to know, and I think there's an element of wisdom at play in this. You have to know when it's time to move from the observer. Like, how do I know if I've practiced my song well enough that I can move into relationship with the experiencer and that it will be okay? Sometimes you don't, and that's okay too. It's okay too. It happens to me all the time. Sometimes I will shift from observer and feel like, ooh, that was good. And then when I go into the experiencer and I fully relax and I release, it comes out sounding like a goat. sometimes. And I'm like, oh, that's okay. Maybe we should go back. Maybe we should go back and play with the observer for a minute. But you're building a beautiful, beautiful system of support, an interior system of support for yourself in both the observer, the one that says, that was good, that was good, that was good. Let's try it like this. Or let's add a little bit more of this helpful, productive feedback. And then when you're ready to move into the loving arms of the experience itself, let your experience be enough. You know exactly what I'm talking about. If it feels like a song that you know really well, and you close your eyes and you let go, and it feels like lightning bolts emanating out of the core of yourself, I do not think that there's anything more magical that in terms of an experience with ourselves that we can have. And I also think that right there is the true gift. It's the only thing of legitimate value that we can provide for other people. We have to be brave enough to stand it. I know that's weird. This is a very weird topic, isn't it? But we've got to be brave enough to stand it, especially when our voice goes haywire and it goes chaos and it goes crazy. We've got to be able to stay with it. Stay steady, steady, steady our relationship with the moment. Steady our breath. Steady our own energy so that we become unshakable. We become unrattleable because we've oriented ourselves in this solid state of complete surrender, complete commitment, wholehearted participation in the moment. That's what creation is. And when we give that to other people, when we just share that with other people, that's the ultimate in terms of art. I happen to really do believe that dancing, singing, acting, instrumentation, music playing, those are all experiential art forms, meaning the experience that manifests itself right there. That is the art. Now, and by no means am I discrediting the observer. I'm just saying you've got to know when it's time to go from one to the other and vice versa. If you spend too much time with the observer, your songs, and I do this often, your songs become detailed to literal death. They're sterile. They have no life in them. They're beautiful demonstrations of technique, but they don't have anything else. They feel like lifeless. Pretty, but lifeless. Spend too much time with the observer? Oh, the experiencer? Too much time with the experiencer? Well, then it's overwhelming. It's ungrounded in skill. It's chaotic. It's overwhelming. I did say overwhelming already. It's overwhelming times 2. Yeah, it's messy. It's too wild, out of control. So we've got to know when it's time. Got to know when it's time. Keep going back to this visualization of what you would like to see for yourself. That will orient you in a proper observer. And then come back to what you would like to feel for yourself. That will orient you in the proper experience. But the work is heavy. It's really heavy, especially with regard to the experiencer, because you have to breathe and calm and steady and let go. If you're brave enough to let go, it will shock you. It will shock and awe. It's magic. It's literal magic when the voice starts to sing you. And that's on the other side of that trust. But trust will get you there. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please be sure to give it a thumbs up or click that subscribe button below. I would love to see you here more often. Thank you again for including me in your vocal journey. I so appreciate being a part of this with you. Thank you so much. And I will look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye!